Hello everyone. I hope you are doing amazing today. Welcome to today's video. Story 1. My boyfriend told his whole family my secret. How do I proceed? Hi Reddit, long-time lurker but first-time poster. Throw away because I don't want this linked to my account. I, 21F, have been dating Mark, 23M, for about a month at this point, but we knew each other for 3 years through mutual friend groups. So, I had a friend, Brad, I'm 22, that I'd known through primary school, and we ended up going to the same high school and university. Brad and I had never had any romantic feelings towards each other, and I truly saw him like a brother. Mark knew about Brad, and they were friends too. Anyways, one night before Mark and I had become exclusive, Brad and I were hanging out after a class at his house, and we decided to have some drinks and watch a movie with his roommate. I don't actually remember how much I drank, but I was pretty hammered by the end of the night. I don't remember what happened completely, but Brad and I ended up having sex. He took my virginity, and I was way too drunk to consent to it. Brad and I had a massive argument, and I called Mark, who came straight away to pick me up. Mark and Brad ended up getting into a massive fight, which ended up in the cops getting called. After that, I cut all contact with Brad and haven't spoken to him since. I haven't told anyone about the incident, only Mark, and I asked him not to talk about it with anyone until I was ready. He completely agreed. Mark and I began dating about 4 months after the incident, but the whole situation had left me so shaken up that I haven't been able to be intimate with him, which he says he completely understands. He's been so supportive. So to the situation, I was talking to Mark's older sister yesterday when she asked if Mark and I had solved our intimacy issue yet. I got quite embarrassed as the question came out of nowhere, but I told her that we were working on it slowly. She then asked, "Is it because of what happened with your old friend?" This caught me so off guard because only Mark knows about the situation. I asked how she knew about it, and she confessed that Mark had told her. I asked her when he told her, and she said the night it happened. I asked who else knew, and she replied, "My whole family." He was asking for advice. I began having a full-blown panic attack and left. He's been calling and texting a bunch after his sister told him, and I've told him to leave me alone for now. My trust has been completely broken, and at this very moment I don't know if I can trust Mark. My question is, how do I possibly move on from this situation and build trust with Mark? Is it worth salvaging this relationship, or would it be in my best interest to let go? How do I even go about communicating with his family after this? Edit. This for much more attention than I was expecting. Thank you so much for all the helpful responses and advice I've received. It has helped me see another perspective. I just wanted to answer a question about when Mark and I had the conversation. Mark and I had the conversation about him keeping the situation between us immediately after he had dropped me home after the incident. We had a long private conversation, and I opened up about exactly how I felt. He promised that he wouldn't tell anyone, and I believed him wholeheartedly. Regarding Mark's sister, we aren't close. We talk, but we aren't at a point where I'd open up to her about my issues. I was also seeing a therapist after the incident had happened. However, they made me feel judged, and I was no longer comfortable seeing them. I'm currently looking for a therapist that I can mesh well with. Regarding Brad's level of intoxication, from what I remember, he had a few beers. His roommate and I were taking shots. Brad was always a heavyweight when it came to alcohol, and I don't have a high alcohol tolerance. I can't be certain on how sober Brad was, as I'm not him. Someone commented, "So this is one of those things where neither of you is wrong initially, and I'm so sorry about what happened to you." He wasn't gossiping after the fact. The poor guy had no idea what the fuck to do and went to his closest who he could trust to ask for help. Sounds like he hasn't told anyone since. You're allowed to be upset that others know, but I don't see this particular incident as a violation of trust. However, if he continued talking about it and sharing intimate details of your guy's life that you weren't comfortable sharing, that's not okay. The sister is fucking dickhead and a creep here though. Why on earth would she want to know about her brother's sex life? That's bizarre. If you want, you need to communicate exactly why you feel the way you do and what you need from him going forward. If he can't meet those needs, then the relationship is over. Also, May I suggest therapy individually for both you? Another user added, just so you know from Mark's perspective, my daughter was sad when she was 14. She confided in one friend. Similar to your situation with Mark, she made him promise not to tell anyone. Of course, she was struggling trying to deal with it. Her friend supported her, but he honestly didn't know what to say or do. So he asked his mom for help on which way to go. Tell us what happened so we could get her therapy and to pursue charges or keep her secret to not lose her trust. In the end, he did tell his mom because he was worried about some remarks she had made to him about saying it's all about to be over, so it doesn't matter anymore. This was 2 years of keeping it a secret. He literally saved her life even though he lost her trust point when he told his mom. His mom didn't know us or where we lived, so she called the police. At 1:30 in the morning, we get woken up to intense banging on our door and flashlights in our windows. It was the police. They asked if we knew where our daughter was. I said she's in bed asleep. He asked to come in so he could check. Her door was locked. Kicked it in. She wasn't in there. More police came, they began searching. A female police officer started screaming for help in our backyard. We all ran around there. She was holding my then 16-year-old daughter by the legs. My daughter had a noose around her neck made from an extension cord. Had that boy not decided to ask for help because of his deep concern for his friend, we would have found her when daylight came. So don't hyper-focus on what he did wrong. Focus on why he did it. It was because of his concern for you. Those are the types of people I would want in my life. Talk to him. Date to the story. I made a post here about a month ago and have been getting PMs asking for an update, so I thought I would. I apologize for any spelling mistakes, writing this on phone while being severely sleep deprived. Mark and I spoke about a week after I found out he told his family. I had been super busy with uni and work, so I was mainly focused on that. He sent me a message sometime on Sunday and asked to meet at a park as I was not comfortable facing his family at the time. We met up and he basically explained that the night he got into the fight with Brad, he was so scared of being arrested and called his parents for advice about what to do. He didn't mention the situation to his sister, but after prying, he found out that she overheard it. She refused to tell him how long she's known, but our guess is the night of. I then asked about if he was talking about our intimacy issues with his sister. He adamantly denied, stating that he's never talked to anyone about it. I asked how she knew and he was lost for words. I decided to call his sister with the mark there. His sister and I are friendly, but we don't have a close relationship. Anyways, she picked up after the second ring and I asked her if Mark had spoken to her about our intimacy issue. She said he hadn't, so I asked how she found out. She replied that she just assumed. That day, she brought up intimacy randomly and my reaction confirmed what she was assuming. She apologized and said she mentioned Mark's name because she wanted us to break up. She said how he deserved better and that he shouldn't have to put up with a whiny bitch who won't kiss him at events. Mark became angry and yelled at her, so she hung up. Mark apologized for what his sister said and said he had no idea she was harboring those thoughts. I honestly just wanted to ignore his sister, we weren't close anyways. He then apologized for telling his parents and not telling me he told them. Kind of understand why he did it, which is why we're trying to work through this. I asked if he could do a therapy session with me and he agreed straight away. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I found a therapist that I mesh really well with. We've had 3 sessions so far and she's been so kind and understanding of my situation. I feel completely comfortable talking with her and we're slowly working on some issue. Mark and I have also slowly been working on our intimacy issue. We cuddle and kiss way more and I feel more comfortable with him. We had a family conversation with his parents and I explained my feelings about the whole situation. The situation has made me much closer to Mark and his parents, but I'm very cautious around his sister. She also avoids me, so it's meh. Mark has also been limiting how much he talks to her, which has really affected her. She ended up sending me a message apologizing about what she said. Anyways, sorry this wasn't as exciting as other stories, but I'm glad the situation resolved itself the way it did. Thank you kindly for your support and advice. It really helped. Someone commented, thank you for sharing this update. First off, I want to say how proud I am of you for the way you've handled this situation. It's never easy when trust is broken like that, and navigating the emotions that come with it can be really overwhelming. You've shown so much strength and patience, both with Mark and with yourself. It's great to hear that you and Mark were able to have an open conversation about everything. His explanation makes sense, and while it doesn't excuse what happened, it's clear that he's willing to work with you to rebuild that trust, especially by agreeing to therapy with you. The fact that he's already showing commitment to repairing the relationship says a lot about how much he cares. I also think it's amazing that you found a therapist you connect with so well. Having that safe space to work through your feelings, whether they're related to intimacy or anything else, is going to be so important for your growth and healing. It's wonderful that you're already seeing positive changes in how you and Mark are connecting physically and emotionally. It's a good sign that you're both moving in the right direction. As for the situation with his sister, I completely understand your caution. What she said was hurtful, and it's perfectly valid to keep your guard up for now. Her apology is a step, but it's okay if you're not ready to forgive or move past it just yet. Trust takes time to rebuild, and it's important to honor your own feelings through that process. Mark seems to be supporting you in this too by limiting contact with her, which shows that he's prioritizing your relationship and your feelings. That's a big step forward. I'm so glad that things are resolving and that you're feeling more comfortable, not only with Mark but also within yourself. Keep focusing on the positive progress you're making, and don't be afraid to set boundaries where you need them. You've already come so far, and it sounds like you're building a stronger foundation for your relationship going forward. Wishing you all the best as you continue to navigate this, and remember, you've got this. Take care of yourself. Another user added, well, all seems to be going as well as it can. I'll just add that although the sister seems like a shit, her first loyalty is to her brother, not you. From her perspective, you brought drama into his life that he wouldn't have to deal with otherwise. She doesn't like seeing her brother bent out of shape, and that may has more to do with your situation than your personality. If you can bury the hatchet with her, do so, but that doesn't mean she will ever be friendly to you. First impressions are hard to overcome, and yours was definitely not good in her eyes, even though you bear fault in that. That's just how protectiveness is. Hope it all works out, and glad you found a good therapist. Someone else commented, may not be exciting, but this is the kind of resolution I think most of us hope for folks in your shoes. Would have been better if his sister apologized genuinely, and not because her brother has distanced himself from her and she's upset about that. As others have said, she needs to show her genuine apology in her actions towards you as well. Granted, you may never be hood enough for her brother in her mind, but she doesn't get to choose who her brother dates. Best of luck and continued progress in your journey together. What about you? What do you think would be the best advice you could give in such a situation? Let us know down in the comments. That would be all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please share, like, and subscribe for more stories like this. I hope you have a wonderful day, and always remember to be kind.